using our frequency distribution table. Then the collections of data and also the sampling techniques. Okay. Now, in our sampling technique, so that is how to apply in our research to determine your respondents. So take note for the techniques. No? Now, actually, there are two types of probability or sampling or probability sampling. So that is our techniques. One is the probability sampling techniques, and the other one is non-probability sampling techniques. This is how to deal your respondents and to determine the respondents by using your sample size. So don't forget to compute or to determine the sample size if your number of respondents is a very large number of respondents or big populations. Now, to determine your sample size, that is small letter n, so try to apply the Sloven formula to determine the sample size n, that is small letter n. And the other one is the Cochrane. So it's up to you on what process did you use in your research. Now, meaning in your respondents, to choose the respondents that the researcher is not biased, so you should follow the techniques. So for the probability random or the probability sampling, one is the random sampling using your lottery. The other one is the systematic sampling. Then the third is by using your stratified. So stratified sampling techniques. So this is a distributions of the respondents in that particular area, or we can say that strata, no? So try to apply this concept of stratified if you are going to determine your sample size. So in other words, your total populations or the total respondents is a very large number of respondents. By using this technique, stratified sampling techniques, in order to determine the sample size of each strata. And again, to determine your respondents or the particular areas, again, you go back to the random sampling. That is by
Which is the
using
lottery.
Yes,
sir.
Now, another one is your multi-stage, no? But in our research, the applications is a very rare to use the multi-stage and your cluster sampling. Okay. Now that is a very important, no, in choosing your respondents, that the researcher is not biased. So always remember the sampling techniques. So again, in the simplest way to determine the respondents, it's either you use the random sampling, meaning using lottery in choosing the number of respondents, and to determine the sample size by using your Sloven. There is a formula. And if that is a very large number of respondents, the distribution of your respondents for each strata or department or any areas, so by using stratified.
Stratified.
So that is how to apply this technique in your research. Now, and also you should know how to formulate your statement of the problem. So last time, na-discuss natin how to formulate your statement of the problem. Okay? So meaning to say, in your statement of the problem, we go back to our previous topic to formulate your statement of the problem. That is, number one is profiling. So in other words, try to find or to determine the profile of the respondents. Okay? Then, your statistical tools is your frequency and percentage scoring. So you go back to our first topic about the frequency distribution. So simply, to find the percentage, okay? So the number of items divided by the total number of items or your populations, and then times 100, that is your percentage. Okay? And then the frequency, so you count the number of respondents belong to that area. Okay, for example, if your variable's age is between the younger and older, so they dichotomize into two, then to determine younger and older, so that means by using your frequency. So that means you count how many younger and how many older in your study, in your respondents. The same also if your one of your variables is sex, meaning male and female. Okay, that is number one statement of the problem in your research. So I know sa inyong research subject, so gina-discuss mo na siya. But i-discuss natin in our subject statistics in the sense that that is a very important before we proceed to the next statistical tools. So in other words, our subject statistics are very important in our research. Okay? Now, next is, the second one is to determine the level, meaning your statement. So that is how to formulate your statement of the problem, meaning objectives. So the second one is what is the level, what is the extent. Okay, so muna siya, what is the extent in the following areas. So you cite the areas. So cite the areas. And then the next statement, what is the level again, or what is the extent in the following areas when grouped according to the aforementioned variables. Meaning to say, compare mo na siya, or i-include mo na according to variables. So ang variables nyo, so you go back to your problem statement number 1. That is your age, sex, and so on and so forth. Okay. Then, the next problem is, after finding your level or extent of your research title, so the next one is your difference, meaning that is the statement of, is there a significant difference? Is there a significant difference when group? And so take note the statement. If you determine the difference between the two variables or areas, meaning to say your statement state that, is there a significant difference when they are grouped and, so take note that with the words and, compared. Compared according to the aforementioned variables. Okay? So that is how to determine. Now, that is a comparative. So comparative analysis. So therefore, we use the word significant difference. Now, if your study focus on the relationship, so meaning to say, your statement or your objective is there a significant relationship? Meaning to say that is relational. So in talking about relationship, take note, there are two variables involved. It's either
Yes.
your variables is there a significant relationship between, for example, your study is about motivation, the level of motivations, and isa na no, motivation is one area or one variables, and i-compare mo siya sa job performance, another one variables. Okay? So meaning to say, gin-compare mo ang two variables. Meaning to say that is relationship. If there is a relationship or not relationship or no relationship. So that is the relational. So that is the last. But in your research, for example, kung wala naman ang relationship between the two variables, so do not include in your study. So not necessarily mean nga all your title or your research or thesis kailangan lahat ang mga statements ang problem from the descriptive to comparative to relational. So hindi naman. There are some study nga hindi na dapat i-determine yung relationship sa dalawang variables. Okay? So kung walang relationship, that is okay. So up to the difference lang kayo. So meaning, in that case, ang first problem, frequency and percentage scoring. Second problem, what is the level? What is the extent? Then, according to variables, those are the problems under the descriptive statistics. So to determine your level or extent, the statistical tools is mean. So you are going to find the mean. Okay? But still, that is descriptive statistics. The same also when group according to the aforementioned variables. Also, mean is our statistical tools. But in our statement about significant difference, that is no longer descriptive. That is comparative. Meaning to say, that is inferential statistics. Kaya there are two There are two kinds of statistics. Descriptive and inferential. That is how to determine your statement of the problem. This linked to the kinds of statistics. And also, significant relationship is also inferential statistics. Okay? So that is how to formulate, meaning order na siya. So meaning to say, you should know how to formulate your statement of the problem in your research. Now, in talking about descriptive statistics, one of the tools is mean. Not only mean, but also median and mode. This measures mean, median, mode is a descriptive. And this is what you call your measures of central tendency. Meaning to say, that is the centrality, to determine the centrality of a given distributions. So, these measures of central tendency, that is mean, median, mode. In the application of these tools, meaning by using your group and ungroup data. Group and ungroup data for the mean. Okay? Now, this topic, ano ko ni, i-send ko lang sa MS Team natin, no? About the measures of central tendency and the measures of variability. Try to check, no, in our MS Team kung send ko na last time. Always lang refer to your MS Team. Okay? Now, what is measures of central tendency? Okay.
There was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools, and she was bused to school every day.
Okay. By the way, ma'am, sir, have you seen this PowerPoint?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. So let us start for the mean. As what I have said, mean is one of our measures to determine the centrality of a given distributions. So actually, mean is the sum of all items or terms divided by the total number of items or terms. So this is a common, this is a common process, most especially in finding our average of the grades of students. Now, the characteristics of mean. So mean is an interval statistics. A calculated average. So meaning we are going to find the average. The value is determined by every case in the distributions. So affected by extreme values. So that is why if your data is a very extreme values, so do not use these tools, ang mean. Okay, one of the characteristics is na affected siya by the extreme values. Na kung ang scores, for example, scores, kung ang scores ng students is a very far to the next course or the next students, so do not use the mean. Okay? And another one is the sum of deviation about the mean is 0. Can be subjected to numerous mathematical computations. Then most widely used, so this is a common process, most especially in our research. Then the represent average quantity. Okay. Then when to use the mean. First is an interval interpretation is appropriate. The value of each score is desired. Then further statistical computation is expected. Okay. Now, formula for the mean by using ungroup data. When we say ungroup data, the value of n is less than 30 observations. If it is less than 30 observation, that means that is ungrouped data. So if that is ungrouped data, so try to use the formula to find the mean. Again, ungrouped data less than our n, the sample less than 30 observations or 30 items. Now, for the symbols of the mean, actually there are two symbols for the mean. One is the barred X or X bar. The other one is mu. Mu is a Greek letter from Greek alphabet. So ang mu, that is look like U. U nga may ano gani sa both sides. Have you seen the Greek letter mu?
Yes.
Sir? Okay, that is a Greek letter. Mga mu, mga sigma, no? Those are the Greek letter. In statistics, we adopt that letter, no? Now, mu and barred X or X bar. Now, since there are two elements of statistics, one is the population, that is big N. The other one is the small n, that is sample. Meaning sample is a subset of the populations. So, in talking about mean, since there are two symbols for the mean, meaning barred X or X bar is what you call sample mean. Okay? X bar or barred X, that is sample mean. While mu is a population mean. Okay. Now, the formula is, this is a common formula, sir, no? O ma'am? Di ba? Ginagamit nyo na ito? Sir or ma'am?
Nalimutan na, sir.
Ito magamit na magkuha ng average. Di ba? So, you sum up.
Minsan, sir.
So, determine the average grades of students. Di ba? You add all the grades, then divide the number of items. So, meaning, in our ungrouped data, so the formula is barred X is equals to the summation of X. So this is the symbols of sigma. That means you sum up, meaning add all the items and divided by the total number of sample or items. So that is how to find the mean. Or barred X is equals to, meaning summation of X. So you start count from the first up to the last value. And then divided by the number of items. So that is for the mean by using your ungrouped data. Now, for example, 9 students got the following scores in a surprise quiz. So there are 9 students. So from this number of students, 9 students with their scores. So 83, 68, 62, 80, 66, na? 94, 67, 72, and 56. So what we're going to do is find the mean. By using your formula, so you sum up these scores from 1 to 9. So you add the scores and divided by 9. Okay, there are 9 items. Okay, so that is how to find the mean. So this one, ang scores. Now actually, to find the mean, it's either you arrange that from lowest to highest or highest to lowest, or even nga hindi na, no? So do not arrange to find the mean. So pwede lang na hindi pag i-arrange. So automatically you sum up lang, pag-divide by n. Okay, so meaning from this scores, the summation is 648. So find the mean. So divide this by 9. So the result is 72. Now, the next is you should know how to interpret the result. Now, since the result for the mean of this particular scores is 72, so the interpretation is whatever value of mean, meaning to say between the failing grades and passing grades. No? Now, the result for the mean is 72, so your baseline is 72, that is mean. So the interpretation is mean and above. Mean and above pass. Below the mean failed. So in other words, from the given scores of 9 students, so we can determine how many of them got the passing scores or the passing grades and the number of students got the failing grades or scores. So in this case, since the mean is 72, now only 4 students got the passing grades. So since below 72 is failure, so there are 5 of them
5.
at the failing scores. So that is how to interpret. Now, if we link this in our research, in your thesis, for example, one of the problem is profiling. Meaning to say, in the profile of the profile of the respondents for the variable age, to determine between the younger and older age of your respondents. And when you use these tools, mean, so meaning to say you add all the age of your respondents from your instrument. Then after that, divide it by a number of sample or populations. Then whatever result of the value for the mean, the interpretation is mean and above older. Below the mean, younger. So that is how to interpret the result of the mean in your research or your thesis. Huh? The same also in the monthly income or length of service. So take note, length of service, dichotomized into 2, meaning shorter and longer. Diba? So meaning to say, when we are talking about length of service, ang answers sang respondents mo or ang ang profile sang respondents mo, that is a numerical value. Mayara tag 1 year, mayara tag 30 years in service, in teaching, na? I don't know kung sa public school, like for example sa teacher. So kung anong pinaka-maximum number of lengths ang service, ma'am or sir? Sa inyo. Anong mga ang maximum? May 60 years in service? Mayroon? About the
30 ata, sir.
sa public school. Ga-depend, sir, no? Ga-depend sa age. Anong nyo?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Pero ang retiring age is 60, correct? 60 or 65?
Yes, sir.
Sir, 60 po.
Merong,
60.
sir, Magic 58.
Ha?
Merong optional, sir. Meron
May
namang
optional. Okay. So kung optional, 60 or mag 50 ng survey ang age ng teacher. Pwede na maka-retire? Hindi pa.
Depende sa length of service,
Hindi
sir.
pa, sir.
Pero dili pa.
Okay.
Hindi pa.
Your based man sa length of service?
Age man, sir. Age.
Sa age. Okay. So, meaning, ang forced na gidya is 65 or 60.
Forced retirement, 65.
65? Okay. So,
65, mandatory.
mandatory na.
Mandatory.
65. At the same man sa private, no? Okay. Now, that is how to to categorize. So, meaning to say, kung mag-thesis na kayo, ang lahat na variables is dichotomized into two. So, para mahapos. So, do not, or there are some cases na your variables hindi lang kay two category. Maybe by mayroon na 3 or 4, like for example position, di ba? May T1, T2, T3 o isang category, and then empty sir, no? Ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Master?
Yes, sir.
And then head teacher.
Master.
Diba? Head teacher.
Depende, Doc.
Ang head teacher ma-consider na ng principal.
HT3, Doc. HT1, HT2, HT3 yata.
Okay. So, meaning, from T to M, master, no? MT. And then,
Yeah.
HT.
Hindi, minsan, Doc, mas lang ang head teacher sa master teacher. Mas mababa po yung head teacher sa master teacher.
Okay.
Kasi meron kasing teacher 2 lang, tapos na-hire siya as, kapag nag-a-apply siya ng head teacher, pwede siyang ma-hire as head teacher. Opo, in a small school, sir.
Okay. With the corresponding qualifications.
Yes, sir.
Based on
Yes,
Yes, Doc.
So
Yes, Doc.
after this maka-defend kayo ng thesis. I hope nga ma-principal na kayo. Yes, no? Okay, so that is how to to formulate your profile of the respondents, your variables. Always remember dichotomize into two. Yon. Kung average family monthly income, dichotomize into two. Do not make your score range your classes. Dichotomize into two. Meaning to say, between the low income and the high income. Dalawa lang. And then, the tools is mean or median. The same process. Find the mean, then interpret, mean and above, high income, below the mean, low income. So that's all. So hindi na mag-thesis kayo, hindi na kayong magpa ng difficult ng process ang inyong research. Okay? So make it simple, but that is researchable.
Again, Doc, question, Doc. Mean is used to
Yes.
determine the variables. The mean
Yes.
is
Kasi that is descriptive. Or
yes,
in
Doc.
numerical value, in the numerical value only.
And the determination of the profiling, Doc, what is used in the central measure tendency? Is there?
That is mean. Kay measure
Still
central tendency, there are 3 measures.
Still applicable to the profiling, Doc.
You choose only one lang. Not only in profiling. In all aspect, in all problem, with the numerical value. Pwede man sa level na. What is the area or the level? What is the extent? So you can use also the mean. Basta in numerical. Diba? In your instrument, answerable by 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ang 5 is always, frequent, sometimes, rarely, and almost never. Ang pinaka-low. Diba? Ang 1. So that is a numerical form. So meaning to say, use the mean. That is how to apply the measures of central tendency. Actually, there are 3 measures. Mean, median, mode. But the most common measure na gina-apply sa aton research is mean. Okay? Some more clarifications. Kay ang mean, that is not, ang measures of central tendency is not applicable in your variables about sex. Diba? Hindi siya. Kaya ang sex, ma-determine ng female, male or female. So, hindi na natin determine ang mean between the male and female. So, i-count na lang natin. So, that is why frequency. Frequency. Okay. So, next. What about if your variables is highest educational attainment? Now, for example, in your study, one of your variables is the highest educational attainment, either teachers or parents of your respondents. Sabi, if your respondents is students, then kung nag-a-affect ang highest educational attainment of parents sa student based on your study, so include mo ang highest educational attainment of parents. So how did you dichotomize into two? Ang highest educational attainment. So pwede nyo ma-dichotomize into two. One is the lower, then the other one is higher. Now, based on the result of your instrument, so the researcher is the one to identify who is the lower educational attainment and who is the higher educational attainment. Diba? Kung ang parents hindi nakagraduate ng high school hanggang elementary lang siya. And then, and the highest is high school or college level. So, you are the one to dichotomize into two. Masiling ka nga ang one of your category is the elementary and the high school level. That is your low. Then college level is high. College level
High.
o college graduate is high. Kung mayroon pang parents na master's degree or doctoral degree, so include sa lower, as a higher education attainment. So you are the one to identify and always take note, make it two category. So hindi na kayo categorize into different category. Like for example, isang category ang elementary, isang category ang high school, isang category ang college, then ang vocational, another one category. So ilang lahat ang variables. Ang category mo marami na, no? 'Di ba? Mahirapan kayong mag-compute. Ha? So make it simple ang inyong research. Okay? Now, so that is our mean. Next. So meaning to say, our interpretation is 72 and above pass and below 72 is failed. Now, in this case, your implications, your analysis, or your conclusions. Yes? Any question, sir? Galbi? Do you have concern?
No, Doc. No problem.
Okay. Sige. Now, next. For the group data. Okay. So, this one. Take note for the formula for the group data. So, for the group data, mu, as what I have said, ang mu is the population mean. Meaning to say, group data is a very large number of observations. Meaning, our n is greater than or equal 30 belong to the group data. N is greater than or equal 30 is group data. If n is less than 30, that is belong to ungroup data. So meaning to say, you should know how to use the formula. Kaya there are two formulas. For the group data, simple lang. Summation or barred x equals to summation of x divided by n. While in our group data, mu is equals to the summation of f. Diba ang f stands for the frequency? That is correct?
Frequency. Yes,
Okay.
yes, Doc.
And then times, multiply that in class mark or midpoint. That is x sub m. Okay. So, you should know how to compute the class mark or midpoint. Diba? Sa exam natin na prelim. So, your answer is very good. No? Correct. Diba? But in our sampling techniques, by using Sloven, there are some of you na mislook or na omit, most especially to simplify the square of E. Diba? Ang E natin is significant error.
0.05, Doc.
Oo, 0.05. 5% error. But you try to square Oo.
Yes, Doc.
Squared mo, anay. Meaning, 2 times mo i-multiply ang 0.05.
Yes.
So, 0.05 times 0.05, that is square. Di ba?
0.025.
0 to 5. Okay. That is the time. That is the time to multiply sa population. Di ba? Then, i-plus 1. There are some, na may nakita ko, there are some na 0.05 lang multiply sa population plus 1. Na-omit yung square.
Mali na ang result.
Oo. So, ang
Mali
population, oo,
sample unit. So,
maliit.
mali na.
Oo, maliit yung result sa sang sampling, sang respondents.
Opo.
Oo. Ang respondents, I think there are 600.
Yes,
sir.
600.
400.
Oo, ang population is 600. So, ang 600, pag mali or wrong your computation sa sample size, na ang respondents mo is the most is 3 respondents out of 600. Di ba?
3.
Oo.
Yes.
Sige. So, meaning you square first, then multiply, then add 1.
Yes.
Okay? Now, we go back to this formula. Again, for the review, class mark or midpoint, meaning to say, lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. Ganon, ha? So,
Yes,
that
po.
is class
Doc.
mark. And, then,
Class mark.
divide by n, population. Ito, ha? So, meaning to say, you're the one to identify if that problem is belong to ungroup or group data. Then apply the appropriate formula. Na? Okay, for example, given ang frequency distribution table, the first 2 columns only. This is a given. Now, 50 students. So to determine the number of populations, again, you are going to sum up or add the frequency. Meaning, the given is only first 2 columns, class interval, and the frequency. Okay. So meaning, our first class, the arrangement of our classes, again, is highest to lowest. So that means 94 to 100. Only 2 students got the scores. 94 to 100. Then 87 to 83. The second class is 3. 80 to 86 is 9, and so on and so forth. So the lowest score is 45. No? Wala na sang score below 45. Meaning, itong ang lowest score. Then, from this given class interval, we can determine automatically the value of I. That is the class size or interval size. 94 to 100, 87 to 93. What is the value of I? Interval. Diba sa distribution, some frequency distribution, so you should know how to construct your frequency distribution table. Diba? So ito yung problem, given na. Given na ang frequency distribution table. So what is the value of I in this case? So 94 to 100. So what is the value of I? What is our interval? Huh? 94 to 100? Diba?
7.
So the value of I is?
Six.
The value of I is?
97.
7, ha?
7.
Oo.
Correct.
94 to 100, you start count 94.
94.
Oh, that is included, ha? 94 is included.
Yes.
94 to 100 is 7. Therefore, your I is equals to 7. And interval mo is 7. All of these classes. Like for example, this one, no? 94, ang next year is 87. So meaning to say, minus 7 kita di sa 94 is 87, no? Minus 7 is 80. Minus 7. So meaning to say, correct. The interval. Okay? Then, this is your F, frequency. So the total is your populations. Now, since we need the value of, based on our formula, this one, we need the value of the summation of F times X sub M. So, try to compute the value of plus mark or midpoint in our table. Oh, ito, plus mark. So, as what I have said, to compute the class mark, lower limit, 94. The upper limit is 100. So, you add?
100 divided by 2.
Yes, divided by 2, that is 97.
97.
Yun, ha? 87 plus 93 divided by 2.
90.
90.
Okay, so the rest are follows. Diba? Then next, we need the value of frequency, ito, times your class mark. So frequency times class mark. So 2 times 97. So counter check, ha? 2 times 97 is 194. 3 times 90,
270.
270. Oh, the same process. You multiply. Okay. Then after that, you sum up. You add. So the summation of F, frequency, times your class mark is equals to 3,688. Okay? Now, this value is the summation of F times X sub M, which is need to our formula. The summation of F times X sub M, meaning 3,688 divided by N, which is equal to 50. So the mean is 73.76. Yun. So that is how to compute the mean by using your group data. Then, you try to interpret. Interpret nila yun. 73 to 76, or we make this as 74, or even it's sa student sabi, no? This is the scores of your students or exam. So, tayo ng mga teacher, 'di ba? May ano pa tayo? May yan ang tawag sa inyo? Kaluoy? Mercy?
76.
Di ba?
Abono.
Nag-apply tayo
Grass.
ng
Grasya, Doc. Grasya.
anong tawag sa inyo, ma'am, sir? Ang dito sa amin, kaluoy.
Grasya.
Kaluoy, ragyapon, sir.
Abono, sir.
Mercy.
Kaluoy lang
Kaluoy,
yan, sir.
ragyapon, sir.
Same also, kaluoy, no?
Hmm.
Mercy. Now,
Okay.
siguro lahat tayo nag-apply naman na ito no? In-apply natin.
Kinalooy, sir.
Kinaluoy.
Kinalooy.
Hindi ba? Oh, first is in your in your work, 'di ba? Pag na ng score. No, in talking about score, exam, 'di ba? Ina-apply na natin 'yan. Kasi 'di ba bawal ang failure?
O, Doc.
I am correct? Bawal ang failure?
Yes, Doc.
Yes.
Sir, bawal talaga.
So kung ang students, ang learner daw failure gid. So i-mark mo siya na failed.
Papasaron, ragyapon, Doc.
Mapasaron niya. Kasi kung i-failed mo siya na their work naman, di ba?
Tama do, kasi magagawa pa ng intervention. So, wag na lang. Pasa.
Yes, that is correct. Oh, mo siya, may may apply ka ng intervention, di ba? So, pag hindi na, masyado na daan na stress na sa module, di ba?
Opo, Doc.
Sa module. Sa module, mas stress na eh. Yung pa lang yung ng print out sa module.
Po, sakit sa likod na. Sakit na sa likod.
Yes, oo. So,
Check parang summative, Doc.
ganun ang pandemic eh. Ang anong natawag nila?
Normal.
So kasi yung mga researcher, no? I am the panel member sa pag-defense ng thesis 1. So mga researcher lahat, no? Or mostly the researcher, ang mga title nila mga challenges, no? Challenges encountered by teacher in modular ang study nila about sa module. Mga challenges. Ano mga challenges? Distribution sa module. Mga ganun sa mga new normal. Diba? So, ganun lahat, no? So, wala pa result. Wala pa kasi ng thesis 1. So, presentation pa lang. So, in your thesis 1, so meaning to say, malis na ang stress nyo. Kasi, expert na kayong magawa ng statement of the problem eh. Diba? Alam nyo na kung paano formulate ng statement of the problem. So basta yung statement of the problem from profile down to the level or extent, down to the significant difference. If there is a relationship, so you add significant relationship. Kung wala na. Doon na lang sa significant difference. Yon. So that is how to formulate your statement of the problem. So malis na ang stress nyo, no? Alam nyo na magawa ng research. Okay. Now, this one is our result for the mean. So meaning to say, by using our formula. Now, and what if this problem, number 2? So frequency distribution of subject respondents responses to the item motivating others to perform the job well. Now, this one is the example of your instrument. Meaning to say, the responses in your instrument is a Likert, meaning in numerical value from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. So meaning to say, in your distribution, as what I have said a while ago, or in our topic about distributions of your data, so meaning, one is the questionnaire, indirect or questionnaire methods. In your instrument, so dapat nakalagay doon ang responses, that is your scores. Meaning, this is the responses of your respondents to answer some items in your questionnaire. Meaning, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For example, the responses, ang scores 5 is the highest, meaning to say always. Ang 4 is often. Ang 3, sometimes. Ang 2, rarely. Ang 1 is almost never. We cannot say never, directly the word never. Kaya our interpretation, magsiling kita never, wala nagidya nag-answer, why answer? Pero may 1 kita nga ginbutang. Nilagyan natin ng 1. So meaning to say, this is Likert. So Likert, ang tawag nun. L-I-K-E-R-T, Likert. Meaning to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, the students or the respondents should answer these following questions through these scores. So meaning, the results are as follows. Sa 5, 12 students answer always. Then 16 got the answer of 4, that means often. Or that depends sa questions, items. Then only 10 answer by 3 or sometimes. Then 8 for the 2, meaning rarely. Then 1 is only 2 answers for the almost never. So what we're going to do is you add this 1, meaning ang n is the total number of respondents to answer this following instrument items. So 48. Now, when you multiply this in our respondents or the responses and the respondents, meaning 5 times 12, then 4 times 16. Okay? Then find the mean of the given distributions. So you sum up this result. So 172. Then follow the formula to find the mean. So divide this by 48. So the answer is 3.58.
5.
Okay. In our 3.58, take note. So you should know how to construct your classes. I-construct nyo ang classes, meaning the range. So, your basis is your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? Take note, So you are the one to construct the frequency distribution so that the result of our mean, which is equal to 3.58, ma-attain ta ang interpretations sini nga 3.58. So how do you construct a frequency distribution table? So we go back to our topic last prelim. Okay? So meaning to say the highest is 5 while the lowest is 1. So find the highest score minus the lowest score. That is your range. Divide by 5. Meaning ang 5 is the desired number of classes. So 5 lang. Since there are 5 lang eh. So there are 5. So divide by 5. Then formulate your frequency distribution table. Now, sa school, may ara kita standardize nga gin-create namin na mga statisticians ang school. And then, kung mag-thesis kayo, ito na ang gagawin ninyo. Itong gagamitin nyo. So, meaning, your mean score range. So, ito ibigay ko sa inyo ang mean score range. I-try natin kung may ano dito. Mean score range. Ito ma'am. Sir. This is our standardized mean score range. So this is a very important. This is how to interpret the result of your respondents. Meaning, ang mean score range 4.5 to 5. Your interpretation is very high level. In talking about level, so meaning very high level, moderate level, low level, and very low level. This is from Formulate 2011. This is a statistical measures, the standardized by using Formulate 2011. So itong ginagamit na mag-interpret ng result. So, isang mean. So 3.5 to 4.49, 2.5 to 3.49, 1.5 to 2.49, then 1.0 to 1.49. Now, for the verbal interpretation, in talking if your problem is what is the level, ito ang gagamitin nyo. Okay? Kung ang problem nyo sa statement of the problem is to determine the extent, meaning what is the extent of the variables. Kung extent naman, so you change this verbal interpretation. So ang verbal interpretation naman sang extent is very great extent, great extent, moderate extent, low extent, kag very low extent. Ganon. But as what I have said, this one, sa instrument nyo, ito ang i-append nyo. Ito ang gagawin ng respondents. Dito siya magkuha ng idea how to answer your questions. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then, ang tawag doon is descriptions. Okay? So, ito ay makikita yon sa instrument. Pag-answer ng students, kag i-think is always ang answer niya, so check siya sa 5. Okay? Kung 4, so 4. Often, times, or often. So 3, sometimes, seldom, almost never. Okay. Now, if we go back to our result for the mean is 3 mean. The result is 3.58. What is the interpretations? $3.58.
High level. High
Kung
level or
what
great
is the level? Kung
extent.
talking about this level of motivation.
High
So the
level.
interpretation is?
High level.
Okay. So like, let's see, no? So 3.52, ari siya, no? Nabilong? 3.5 to 4.49.
4.49. Yes.
Yes. So
Doc.
meaning to say the result is 3.8, correct?
Yes, Doc.
So
3.58.
3.8. Okay. So meaning to say belong to high
High
level.
level.
That is the interpretations. Okay. So that is our process to solve the mean of the distributions. Now, next problem. Ito. So given the frequency distributions table. So find the mean. First, determine the class mark. Sum up the frequency. Therefore, the total population is 40. Find the class mark. As what I have said, lower limit plus upper limit divide by 2.
Yes po. So,
Okay.
class mark.
So that is class mark. Then, multiply it by the frequency, which is equals to 4. So the result is 308. The same process for the rest of our classes. Then you sum up. So the result is 2,295. Okay. Now, this one is our summations of this frequency and the class mark. Then that is the time to substitute in our formula. Yon. So divide by 40, the result is 57.38. So ito ang mean, ha? Ang mean. Okay? So far, any questions? So to find the mean, group and ungroup.
Group.
Okay na? So mean between group and ungroup. Okay na? So,
Okay na.
ano mag-compute ng mean. Okay. So,
Mas madali
meaning,
yung...
yes, ma'am?
Wala, Doc. Okay na. Mas madali yung ungroup. I-ano
Yes.
ang team.
Madali. You know what? In the actual practice, no? Since may mga may mga computer, 'di ba? Then may through Excel pwede natin magamit, 'di ba? Mag-compute. May mga Excel. Now, most especially in our spaces, as what I have said about the spaces, i-share ko sa inyo ang spaces after this ng aton na computation sa MCT, Measure sa Central Tendency. So meaning to say, ang SPSS or our software or even kung mag-usar kita ng Excel, to compute sang result, wala naman na natin ginagamit ang group data. All is ungroup data. Pag wala pa ang mga software, wala pa ang mga program, na? So ganun ang ginagamit. Na classify into group and ungroup. Kasi kung hindi natin pag-classify doon sa based on the given formula sa group kag ungroup data, matagalan tayo mag-compute ng statistical result process. Diba? Pero since there is a program or even the computer, kung kabalo ka mo maggamit ng Excel, so pwede na. Either mag 50 respondents man, kayang-kaya, a few seconds lang, no? Result na. Ba? Sa Excel, gagawa kayo ng ng program to compute, sum, divide by, ganon. Pag-click mo, then scroll down mo, may answer lahat, no? A few seconds. Okay? So, but that is the application, no, between the group and ungroup data. Okay? Now, another process. Okay, share ko ha. Okay. Makikita niyo ito, sir? Ma'am? Ang slide?
Yes, Doc.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Doc.
Take
Okay.
note, ha?
Yes, Doc.
This is how to present in your, for example, in your thesis. So, ma-thesis na kayo, no? Now, try to always refer to our mean. So, meaning to say, that is what you call weighted mean. No? So, the computation of weighted mean in the case of the researcher by using these scales. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ito ang sinasabi ko. No? So, this one is in your instrument. So, append this in your instrument. So, ito ang basis ng respondents to answer the several items in your instrument. And then, the interpretation is this one. Now, for example, how to find the weighted mean? Ito. Mayroon na kayong instrument. For example, there are 5 items na muna. So number 1, questions. I prefer science than the other subjects. I consider science learning an interesting and exciting experience. So sample lang ito ha. Then I feel that science concepts and skills answers a lot of problems encountered. I work cooperatively with other members in the groups. Then ang last, I like to work on difficult concepts and accept. So this one is the items. Then the choices. Meaning to say this one, ma-append niya in your instrument. So, ang first grid is the highest, 5. Do not append this in your instrument nga 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, dapat 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sa instrument, wala pa ito. Ang main interpretations. So, meaning to say, in this case, in the summary, the total, ginatali na. So, the result, for example, in question 1, there are 47 respondents who answer problem number 1. Mas prefer sila always. The other one is 4. Then 3, 2, 1 respectively. Then find the weighted mean. So what we're going to do is you add. So 47, 37, 60, 62, and 64. Divided by 5. So correct, 2.87. You sum up, then divide by 5. Okay, so 2.87. This one. So weighted mean. Then divide by 290. Okay, di man, no?
I-multiply pagali.
This one. So weighted mean equals to. So 2.87. Now, for example, the result is 2.87. Then the interpretation is moderate level. So we go back to this mean score range, 2.87. So the verbal interpretation is moderate level. So that is how to to answer some questions na by using the mean. So that is why in your problem the statistical tools is mean. Okay. Then i-send ko ni sa group chat or sa MS Team natin, sa link natin. Kaya i-send ko ni para for your reference. Now,
Okay, thank you, Doc.
take note, this is a sample table presentation sa thesis nyo. Kung anong gagawin sa thesis. So, there is a format. Diba? As what I have said, ang format natin, short size bond paper, that is 8 by 11, no? Short size. Then margin 1.5 sa left side, 1 inch both sides sa right, top and bottom. Then double space. Then font size 12 by using Bookman old style. Now, how do you present the table? So take note in siyang table. In problem number 1, we are talking about the profile of the respondents. So paano natin gagawin ng table ang profile ng respondent? So itong gagawin nyo. Table 1, Table 2, Table 3, o ano siyang table. So the title, table title, profile of the respondents in terms of variables used in this study. Then, sa first column, variable grouping. Ilagay nyo lahat na variables na nandoon sa inyo statement of the problems. And then, classification. ito ang classification. So how do you categorize ang age? Meaning younger, older. By using our tools, mean or median, to determine the younger age and the older age. Now, as what I have said, so you should already know how to interpret the result. Meaning, kung mean ang gagamitin nyo, you sum up tanan na edad ng respondents, i-divide by the total number, and then the result is i-interpret nyo. For example, ang result is 24. So meaning to say, below 24 years old, that is belong to younger age. For the
Above
older
24.
age, 24 years old and above. So ganun ang mag-interpret ng mean. Ha? So you should know that. And then male, female, okay na. Now, ito ang sinasabi ko, to categorize the highest educational attainment, meaning lower and higher.
Yes.
So, college graduate, MA units, PhD units belong to the higher age or higher educational attainment.
High school.
Then, average family monthly income is the same lang sa age, mag-interpret. Low income and high income.
High income.
Hindi masyado budlay, 'di ba? Sa part ninyo, no? Then, frequency. You count how many of your respondents belong to the younger age, meaning below 24. That means below 24, 23. No? So, that is belong to frequency. Then, percentage scoring. So, ito na.
pagtang, day.
So, meaning
Ano nang
24.
Badbara, kaya akong laban.
Okay.
Lalo nanay baat.
Okay, next. So, the same, ha? Now, paano gagawin ang table? Ito, sir, ha? Take note of this. Ang table natin is hanging table. Hanging table. Meaning, one line sa itaas, one line dito, in the middle, and the bottom, one line. So, hanging table. No grid line. So, walang grid line. Okay? Walang mga rows and columns na. So, ito ang standardized na presentation of table. So, take note ito. Tatlo lang ka-line. So, this one is the hanging table. And then, for the title, always get this is inverted pyramid. Inverted pyramid. Okay? Ma-visualize nyo, inverted pyramid. That is for the title presentation. Inverted pyramid. And then, there are some cases nga itong table ginakat into different parts. Na kung ito ay sa page 1 and the last, ang kalahati nito ay makikita sa page 2. So always remember this. Do not cut the table. Okay? Pwede i-resize ang table. Hindi naman na kung sa table, always 12 ang font size. Hindi naman. Kung sa table, pwede ma-resize. As long as do not cut the table. Nga ang first part dito sa isang page, ang second part doon na sa next page. That is wrong. Hindi accept yon. Okay? So, okay na sir? Ma'am? Maggawa ng table. Hanging table lang. Ang title, inverted pyramid. Okay?
Yes, Doc.
Now, ito ang old. na presentation sang table. Ito na mag-present ng your problem number 2 atong level. Hindi pa kasama yung aforementioned variables. Mga areas pa lang ito. Okay. Meaning, ito ang old na table. So, i-change nyo na ito sa hanging table. Ganito. No? So, meaning, from this table, first line lang sa itaas, then second line dito, and then the last line. Kunin nyo na itong grid line. Wala na itong mga grid line. So ito ang acceptable na table format. I-change na ito siya. Kay old ni siya nga table. Now, meaning to say, in your table presentation for problem number 2, tatlong column. Ang first column, that is your items. Ang second column, ang mean. So you should know how to compute the mean. And then, the last column, the third column is interpretations. So you should know how to interpret by using our mean score range. And the last is what you call overall mean. Overall mean. Naka-bold letter ni siya. Naka-bold letter. So, meaning to say, as what I have said, pwede nyo ma-resize ito ang mga font natin kung sa table. Okay? Pwede ma-resize. Ganon ang presentation. So, ibigay ko ito sa, i-send ko sa group chat. By the way, class, mas prepare kayo sa group chat na i-send or sa MS Team na lang?
Sa group chat na lang.
Sa group chat siguro, sir, kay madali lang.
Madali ang sa group chat.
Opo.
Yes, sir. Naato ganin dili gyud ka sulod sa MS Team.
Okay. O, sige. So, sigurong lahat na handout siguro ko sa group chat natin. I-send.
Sige po.
I-send na lang natin sa group chat. So, wag niyo ito i-delete, ha. So, this is your reference na kung na kayo, mag-thesis na kayo. Itong gagawin niyo. Mag-thesis na. Okay? Or even in your research na subject, kung may may requirements kayo, magagawa kayo ng chapter 1, 2, and 3. So, pwede nyo itong magamit na ang atin na statistics. Ang inibigay ko na mga format. So, pwede na ito. At least may knowledge na kayo. Mostly sa chapter 3 na, methodology.
Doc, meron lang tanong, Doc.
Yes.
How often change ang format, Doc? By use? Mga next year, 2 years, hindi pa siguro magbabago?
Hindi na. Hindi na, sir. Unless otherwise, kung mag-publish. Kaya kung mag-publish kayo ng research nyo, mayroon silang format mag-publish. So, itong ginatawag nila na IMRAD. IMRAD format. Mag-publish. Pero for the school, sa school nga culture, so itong gagamitin natin, ang format ng school. Kaya every school has their own format. Pero pag-publish na, by using IMRAD nga format. Yun. Yun ang yung makikita nyo sa sa Google or sa internet, mag-research kayo na that is IMRAD format. Gina-publish. Okay? So for the school, itong ginagamit natin. This is a standardized format ng schools. Some more? Some more concern before we proceed to the next? Ito na. Ito mag-present ng profile of the respondents. Ito naman mag-present ng table for your problem number 2 about your areas. Then, for the profile, now according to the aforementioned variables, ito naman ang table. This is how to formulate your table for the aforementioned variables. Ito na. The same first column, ang items. Ang second column, mean. Ang third items or third column, that is your interpretation for example, average family monthly income. So in average family monthly income, we categorize this into 2 categories. Low income and high income. So meaning each category mayroon kayong mean kag interpretation. Sa high income is the same. But always remember that in our title must be inverted pyramid. So, meaning to say, ito na ang descriptive statistics. And then how to present this in your table. Then how to use this table. Okay? So, ito ang presentation sang table in your thesis. Kung nandyan na kayo sa chapter 4, presentation and analysis. Okay? Now, always remember again, do not cut the table. Dapat doon lang siya in that particular page. Do not cut the table. Then this is hanging table ito. No? 3 line lang. Okay? So, meaning to say, nandito na tayo sa profile, sa level, then according to aforementioned variables. Meaning to say, this is descriptive. Now, paano i-discuss, i-interpret ang table? Again, take note for the format. First, present this table. After some table presentation, now proceed to your discussion. Ang discussion from the given table. Okay. For example, how to discuss the result. Ang format natin, una ang table presentation, then followed by your interpretation and discussion. So how to discuss the table? Okay. Mag-discuss ng table, try to check the highest and the lowest mean and the overall mean. Meaning, mag-discuss ka ng table. For example, kung 5 items, ang kukunin mo only the highest, the lowest, and the overall mean. The rest, wala na. Now, for example, kung there are 10 items ang inyong instrument, ang test question mo per area is 10. The same lang, do not discuss all the 10 items. Do not discuss. Only the highest, the lowest, and the overall. Okay? For example, this one, find the lowest and the highest and the overall mean. The lowest is 3.5. 36.
36.
And the highest is
3.70.
3.70 with an overall mean of 3.55. So ito lang ang i-mention sa discussion. For example, sasabihin mo sa discussion, table 2 shows that. Yan, ganon ha. Or, as revealed in table 2. Now, pwede. The highest mean score was 3.70, which states with the items of my salary, ikot nyo dayo, no? Okay? My salary and benefits are released on time. Okay, i-mention nyo yon. And interpreted as, ano mo ang interpretation? High level. Yon, ganon. Oo. So meaning, highest, lowest, and overall mean. Then after that, kundi, na-discuss mo na ang highest, na-discuss mo na ang lowest, kag ang overall mean. Sa highest kag lowest, don't forget to mention the items, kung ano yung items, kag interpreted as ang imo nga result, kung high, low, or very high. Na? And then, i-mention dayon with an overall mean of 3.55, interpreted as high level. Then, after your discussion, ang next sinadayon is implication. Pag siling nga implication, so try to implicate this study in the actual nga makita nyo sa inyo workplace, sa imo nga local sang study kung diin mo ginconduct. Why is it? Kay ang iya nga lowest is the compensation and benefits I receive can afford a decent living. So 3.36 siya, meaning moderate level. So ito ang ano nyo. Ito ang i-append nyo. No? Kay nag-lowest siya. Do not give the implication sa highest. Kay highest na nasaya. Always sa lowest result ka mo ma-implicate. So why? Sa inyong school, ang compensation and benefits hindi siya maka-attain sa inyong in a decent living. Meaning to say, i-implicate mo yun. No? So ang statement mo diyan is this implies that blah 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 blah, no? Ganon. Kayo na in one sentence or two sentences nga implication, as long as there is an implication. So do not leave the table discussion nga without implication. Dapat mayroon din na implications. Okay? Kaya kung walang implication, walang miti ang study. It is because table reading lang. No? So, wala nakalink sa imo nga study. Why is it nga nag-study ka? Okay. So, that is your discussion sang table. So, again, in summary, table, no? Present first the table, then discussion and implication. So, ganun lang. In one sentence lang ang implication, ayos na. Diba? So, ganun na mag-attend sang study nyo. So far, any questions? Ano ko lang isend ko yun sa group chat natin for your reference. So, hindi nyo na lang pag-i-delete. Okay? So, next. Median. Sa median. Ah, for the median, okay. Okay, so try to check kung okay. Makikita nyo sa screen?
Oo,
Yes,
Doc.
Doc. Yes, Doc.
Opo, sir.
Next, median. Now, the same also, median, consider the group CAG and group data. Group and ungroup data. Now, for the median is the middle score for a set of data that has been arranged in order of magnitude. The median is defined as the score point which divides the distribution into two equal parts. Characteristics for the median. An ordinal statistics. A rank or position average. Value is determined by the score in the middle or near the middle of the distributions. Not affected by extreme values or scores. Okay, this is correct. If we compare to the mean, ang mean niya affected siya sa extreme values. While ang median not affected by the extreme values. Meaning to say, kung layo, kung very far ang scores from the other scores, meaning do not use the median. Do not use the mean. So the appropriate tools is median. Kaya hindi siya affected. No? For example, ang income, mayroon na income nga a month is 75,000 a month. Then, nagpalod siya karon na 50,000 a month. Then followed by 48. Then followed by 35. So, very extreme values. So, do not use the mean. So, try to use the median. Okay? So, can be subjected to only few mathematical computation, less widely used than the mean, then represent typical score. When to use the median? When the exact midpoint, 50 point or 50% point of the distribution is wanted. When there are extreme scores which will greatly affect the mean distribution is skewed, meaning to say kung diin siya nag-skewed, left or right. In talking about skewed, kung diin siya mostly madamo. Na? For example, nag-exam kayo sa inyong learners. Then, laban karon failure. So, meaning to say, nag-skewed siya to the left. Pag skewed niya, kaya ang median ara sa between, meaning sa point of origin. So, ang aton interpretation, median and above, pass. Below sang median, failed. So, kung meaning, from that particular number of students who got the scores below the median, meaning to say, skewed to the left. That means, most of the students is failed. Okay? So, skewed to the left. Kung skewed to the right, most of the students pass. Okay. So when it is desired that certain score should influence the central tendency, but all this is known about them is that they are above or below the median. Okay. Now, median for ungrouped data. The median for ungrouped data is determined by, so you are required to arrange. So the data must be arranged by ascending or descending order. It's up to you, no? So, arrange from highest to lowest or lowest to highest. Depende sa inyo. As long as you arrange the data. But there are some cases to solve the median by using ungrouped data. Number one case is when n is odd number. Meaning to say, ang number of items is odd. Like for example, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Odd numbers ang data. So how do you find the median of the given distributions? Okay. Ito. Ma'am, kindly check kung makita nyo sa screen. Full screen ko siya. Sir?
Yes, Doc. Yes, Doc.
Main ra mo makitaan, Dok.
Okay. So, makita nyo?
Kana
Yes,
daw.
Doc.
So, let us take our example in problem 1 and find the median of the following data. What about this one? Okay?
Kita daw.
Have you seen? Okay. Now, according
Yes,
sa
Doc.
median, one of the process by using ungroup, first arrange this into highest to lowest or lowest to highest. It is depend sa inyo. Then after arranging this data into highest to lowest or lowest to highest, then find the middle items. For example, we arrange this from highest to lowest. What is the highest value?
95.
95.
5,000.
Okay. So meaning to say, if you use the highest to lowest value, so the highest value is
95.
95.
5,000.
Okay.
The lowest is
Followed by
12.
12,000.
90.
90. Okay,
90.
correct. Then,
18.
18.
okay.
17.
So careful
17.
kita. So basta na-arrange.
16.
16.
6,000.
Then
Then
16.
15.
So value 15. Okay,
And
next.
4.
14.
40
And then
plus
12.
12.
Okay. So this is ungroup data and the tool is median. Meaning find the middle item. What is the middle item?
16.
16.
Okay. So therefore median is 16. Okay. Now, what about the symbols for the median? So look at the symbols. Ang symbols ng median, so pwede kita kagamit sang X, then approximate nga symbol sa babaw. But these symbols ma-misinterpret natin. Kaya hindi na sa totally straight line. Kung straight line ito, automatically we call that as mean. So Bard X. To avoid misinterpretations ng symbols, I advise to use capital letter N,
MTN.
small letter D, kag small letter N. Amo na lang na. Ganon.
MTN.
MDN as the median. Okay? So meaning 16,000 is the median.
Median.
So, ganun lang mag-compute ng ungroup data or for the median. So the answer is 16,000. Oh, madali lang, no? Okay? What about this one? Makita nyo?
Yes.
Opo. Yes, Doc.
In this example, N is odd. The median is 16,000 and there are 4 scores below and above. Meaning to say, gina-interpret nyo ang result. Okay. So, how many of them got the amount of below median, then median and above? Huh? Okay.
20,000 is the highest.
So, 16,095. Oh, what about this one? Okay pa? Ma-view nyo?
Yes, Doc.
Yes, Doc.
Oh, there are 11. What is the median score?
14.
That is?
16.
14. Doc.
21 is the highest.
So, meaning arrange.
20.
From
10,
highest to
12,
lowest.
12. Opo, 10, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 21. So, 14.
14. So, let us check. From highest to
Lowest.
lowest. So, the highest is 21.
21. Followed 20.
20.
17.
16.
16. 15.
Okay.
14.
30.
213.
12.
Dalawang 12.
Dalawang
And then 10.
13, 13.
The middle item, since this is odd number.
14.
14.
Okay.
14.
Okay. So, meaning the middle item is 14. So, that is
13. May median.
Okay na?
Yes, Doc.
So very simple, no? Okay, next. What about even number?
I think.
Oh, even
1,
na.
2, 3, 4.
Oh, for example. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, even items. So, 8
Arrange.
items, meaning even. Arrange the same process. Okay. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, since this is even number, if you had noticed that there are 2 middle items, correct?
Yes.
Yes, Doc.
Yes.
Now,
If
yes. Meaning to
15
say
and
there are
13.
2 middle items. So, from that 2 middle items, find the middlemost.
14.
Okay.
14, Doc.
Ilang? 14?
15.
Okay.
15. 28 divided by 2, 14.
Yes. So, meaning to say, what we're going to do is, you add, okay, since there are 2,
You add
Then
the
divide
2
it by
and then
divide by 2.
we have
the
14.
result.
By 2, 14.
So, equals to
So
14. That
14.
is correct. Wow,
14.
very good. Sagat na. Okay, so that is the group, group data.
Group data.
Oh, yes. Group.
Okay na. For the group
Even
data.
na. Yes.
The same
Ungroup.
niya. So, the same Japan, ha?
Ungroup.
So, there are two middle item. So, add, divide by 2.
35.
Okay. So,
35.
any question, reaction for the ungrouped data to solve median?
None so far.
No.
None.
Okay.
Clear na daw.
Clear, Doc.
Let us proceed
Very
to
clear.
na. Group data. Okay?
Daw no
Mabyo?
speed.
Mabyo siya?
Yes.
Yes, Doc. Clear, Doc.
Take note, ha? Group data.
Klase pastor.
Oh, this is our formula. Now, change the symbols. MDN is equals to X sub M. Now, in this case, this is not class mark or midpoint. Ha? Ang X sub M. This is not a class mark or midpoint. This is the median.
Lower.
Okay, the lower boundary of the median class. So, sa inyong notes, so try to change this into X sub LB. Lower boundary of the median class. Meaning,
LB, hindi M.
hindi na.
M.
Kaya ang X sub M ginagamit natin sa min eh. Magkuha sa class mark or midpoint.
Oh, yes. So LB
Kasi
na lang.
baka ma-misinterpret nyo. You change that X sub LB. Meaning ang LB, lower boundary.
Lower
And
back.
you should know how to find the boundary. Ha?
Small runny dog.
Ang boundary, meaning to say, subtract 0.5 for the lower limit, then add 0.5 for the upper limit. That is the boundary. Since ginapamangkot is lower boundary, so only get the lower boundary of that particular class. Okay. CFB meaning cumulative frequency. FM is the frequency of the median class. N is the populations, number of cases. While I is the
interval
size or class size. Yon. Okay, so this one is the formula. Now, the problem is, once na nag-solve ka mo sang median for the group data, first, determine the median class where they are belong. Okay? Median class. So, to determine the median class, meaning to say, by using this formula of n divided by 2. Ito siya. N divided by 2. This is how to determine the median class. Okay? Number of population divided by 2. Okay. For example, this one. Given the class interval with their corresponding frequency. So what we're going to do is you sum up the frequency.
total of 9, 10,
Yes.
14, 15, 16.
So meaning the total of this frequency is your n. Okay.
40. 40?
So
40.
40.
Opo.
Correct?
40 doc.
Yes.
So
Yes,
Yes,
Doc.
doc.
40.
that is your big N. So big N na siya, population. Now, as what I have said, since we are going to solve the median by using group data from this given frequency distribution table, determine the median class. To determine the median class, we need the value of N divided by 2. So again, what is the value of N? Capital letter N. 40.
Population. 40.
Okay. 40. Divided by 2.
Divide it by 2.
20.
20.
O 20. Meaning to say,
That's the
sa
median.
ika-20th term, dira nyo ma-determine ang median class. So, the next question is, what are the classes involved in our median class? Kaya ang n divided by 2 is equals to 20.
Opo.
So,
Yes.
i-determine ta siya. So, this one. I-check anay mama, sir, kung ma-view nyo sa inyong
Frequency.
Claro,
Yes.
doc.
Yes, Doc.
Okay. So, you are the one to find the cumulative
Cumulative
frequency.
frequency.
Now, take note. Since the arrangement from highest to lowest, meaning to say, ma-start kita in the lowest class. Sa lower class kita ma-start. If the arrangement of classes from lowest to highest, so dito ka ma-start sa above. No? Kung lowest to highest ning arrangement. Basta refer always to the lowest class. Okay? So dito tayo ma-start. Cumulate sang frequency. As what I have said sa atong distribution last time, whatever frequency diri sang lowest class, the same also for the cumulative frequency. Okay. Ma-view nyo, sir, ma'am?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. So meaning, we start sa 2.
2.
Ay, hindi lang. Okay. Oh, 2. Then, i-add.
Plus
5.
5.
Plus 5. 7.
7.
Yan.
14.
14,
Okay.
17.
17,
24.
26, 31,
31. 36. 40.
40.
Yes. So meaning to say, your answer is correct since the total population is 40. Okay. Pag ang total population nyo dire is 40, then pag accumulate ang frequency nag-39, there is something wrong. Okay. Then, find the middle or the median class by using n divided by 2.
20.
Since 40 is the, okay. 40. N divided by 2.
20.
Correct. 20. So determine
120,
these classes. In our distribution table, you are the one to identify which one of these classes ang median nag-fall.
24.
Okay. So meaning to say, nandito. N
55.
equals to 40.
7.
Kung dito tayo nga classes, 50 to 54, that is wrong.
Yes.
Since ang n divided by 2 is 20, only 17 lang. So, ma-move ka another next class, which is 55 to 59.
59.
And the cumulative frequency is 24. So, meaning ito na. ang median class nyo. So, pwede above or equal to n divided by 2, not below n divided by 2. Meaning below 20, that is not the correct answer.
Okay.
Pwede 20 and above. But not necessarily mean nga ma-add pagid into another frequency which is 26. That is not viable.
Layo.
Okay? It is because ang 24, dito na siya makikita ang n divide by 2. So meaning to say, this is the location of your median class. Okay? Ang 17, below that is your cumulative frequency based on the given formula. Then, ang 55 to 59, that is the location of the median class. Okay. So, median class. Another variables found in our formula is the frequency of the median class. So the frequency of the median class
7.
17 is our cumulative frequency. Okay. Now, 54.5 is your lower boundary of the median class. Why is it nga nag 54.5? Ang lower limit natin is 55. The boundary is subtract this 0.5. Diba?
Yes.
So 55 minus 0.5 is
54.5.
Okay. So lower boundary, meaning we are referring to the lower limit, not the upper limit.
Okay, Doc.
Okay. Then, for the frequency of the median class is equals to 7. Yan. Nun, So, meaning to say, our I, what is the
Interval.
value of I?
Interval. Plus interval.
Ito na. Pwede ma-count actual.
Either.
That is equals to?
5.
5. 75, must start kami yung count in 75. That is including na.
And to 79.
Ma-end siya sa 79. So 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. So 5 interval. Or, nandito na. 75 minus 70.
5.
70 minus 65. Pwede. Okay? Then, that is the time to substitute in our formula to find the median class. Ito na.
Doc,
So?
excuse me, Doc.
Yes?
Doc, sorry to disturb the class, pero mag-ask lang mi, Doc, if what time ta mahuman kay na may klase sa PICAS.
Ma-end na kita. Ano ko lang, pusin ko lang ang median.
Thank you, Doc.
Next na lang ang mode. Okay? Sige.
Okay, Doc.
Now, sa substitution, to take note for the computation, kay we are using the calculator. Not necessarily mean nga kung may calculator, pang-add na lang tayo. Hindi natin i-refer to the rules. No? Laws and mathematics. So this one is the PEMDAS rule.
MDAS.
Okay. So meaning to say, ma-start kita inside your grouping. So first, 20 minus 17. then equals divide by 7. 3. 3 divide by 7 equals, then that is the time to multiply sa 5.
5.
5.
Then equals,
0.14
then
plus
54 plus 5 times
54.
decimal
20
na
times 5.
743 tapos
Round up.
2.15.
56.65, correct?
Yes, Doc.
So that is the median. Okay. Ito Now, 56.65. So look at the median scores. Hindi ba ang median class natin makikita sa 1, 2, 3, 4, sa 5, 5 class?
55 to 15. Yes, Doc.
55 to 59. The result is 50?
56.65.
Okay. So meaning your answer is correct.
Okay.
Kaya your answer for the median is 56 point.
56.65.
Okay. So meaning between 55 to 59. If your answer is 63 point something,
Wrong.
yes, your
Lakaw.
answer is wrong. Kaya ang median class, makikita dito sa, o ang
55.
median, malocate siya sa median class between 55 to 59. So your answer is correct. Ganun 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 ang median. Okay? So this one is for the median for the group data. So by next meeting, every other tayo, no?
Yes, Doc.
So what will
Yes,
be the
Doc.
next meeting natin? By 8.
November 22.
Okay, sa November 22. Next meeting
Okay, Doc.
natin.
22.
Okay? Sige. So, meaning, this one is our topic about the mission of
Artista lagi nito. Artista lagi ni.
Oo, kay si Dingdong student ko. Dito siya nag-graduate sa West Negros. Student ko siya sa statistics, sa business statistics, and then sa mathematics niya.
Wow.
Oh. Bachelor's
Sana
degree.
all. Sana all.
Pag-graduation niya nito Pag-graduate niya. So, kasama niya si Marian at ang family niya.
Wow.
Okay. So, pag-graduate niya, hindi siya kasali sa pag-march ng mga students. Kasi maguba ang ceremony.
Pa-picture.
Yes, kaya ang lahat ng mga tao sa mga graduations, nalalaman nila na si Dingdong nandoon siya at saka si Marian. So, meaning, pag pumasok na lahat na graduate sa gym, so that is the time na naglabas si Dingdong sa sasakyan niya.
Wow.
Dahil hindi pa siya kasulod sa gym kasi marami ng tao. Hinaharang na siya. Si Mariam nagtumakbo si Mariam, no? Okay. So, ito our next na topic is about the last topic for the measures of central tendency, which is the mode. Then followed by the measures of variations, measures of variability, that is standard deviations, and variance. So be sure in our next meeting, so try to prepare your calculator.
Okay, Doc.
to counter check the result for the standard deviation kasi mayroon ng highest exponent eh. Naka-multiply na tayo eh.
Dapat na may mapalit may ani calculator, Doc.
Or even sa inyo, your cellphone, may calculator yun.
Doc, kailan tayo Doc? Mag-aral
Yes.
sa SPSS natin?
Mayroon sir. Kasi ang problema ko, wala kayong SPSS. So, what I did is to present to you the SPSS na lang. Kung may program kayo, so much the better. Kaya hands-on kayo sa SPSS.
Mas
So,
hapos, Doc, ang
wala eh.
Mas hapos, Doc, ang statistics kung mayroong SPSS, ana?
Yes, sir. After this, you know what? The last topic natin is MOB. Measures of variability. So, i-present ko yung SPSS. Kung ano ang SPSS. Pag na-encode na lahat na data, kung karami ang data, a few seconds, i-compute niya ang mean, median, mode, standard deviation, no? A few seconds. Okay? So, i-try by next meeting. Kung ano ang SPSS. How this software is very important in our research. Yun. Mabuti kung may SPSS kayo na software.
Sige, Doc, amo niya nang i-download.
Download. Baka download kayo. Okay, good. May dito ako na na software. Ang kaso lang hindi ko sa inyo. Hindi ko
ma-share.
Hindi ko sa inyo nga laptop. No? Kaya i-install mo na eh. Install mo ang SPSS sa laptop. Sino tong nagsabi na na mag ng USB?